I want to go ahead and make sure that we get started and have the whole hour. Might not take us the whole hour. My name is Jan Walsh. I'm one of the regional VPs for Copeland. We're glad you're all here. We do have ancillary training every Wednesday. So definitely keep this time slot on your calendar. Normally it works out at the same time, but every Wednesday, these ancillary products are not only important to help you in getting clients before 65, but also just rounding out not just your commissions and residuals, but also just to round out the coverage that you're providing a person. Doesn't have to be a Medicare beneficiary, but just someone that you're meeting with. Sometimes you can make them a client with an ancillary product and put them in the pipeline to do a follow-up call for Medicare or Medicare Advantage down the road. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce our guest, which is Zach Parker. He is with GTL, and you're welcome to share your screen at any time, Zach.
All righty. Are you guys seeing my screen at all or no?
We were, but not anymore.
Wonder what happened there. 1 second, I'll put it back up. Okay.
Do you have maybe multiple? There, it looks
There
like
we
it's
go.
coming up now. Yeah,
Okay.
it's up now. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. So thank you guys for joining me today. Like Jan mentioned, my name is Zach Parker. I work with GTL as one of our sales managers. And if some of you have attended any of our corporate webinars in the past, it's a good chance you might have heard my voice already because that's something that I do regularly conduct most weeks out of the month. So if you are contracted with us already, just make sure you are continuing to keep an eye out for those emails letting you know what products we are going to be going over. And if you are not yet contracted with GTL, I'd strongly advise you to do so just so you could be given the opportunity to present all the great ancillary products that we do have available for all of the clients that you currently have and will have in the future, because we have tons of great stuff that you can offer them. Now, for today's training, we're going to be going over our Advantage Plus Elite plan. That is a hospital indemnity policy that is mainly designed to cover all of your clients' out-of-pocket copays that they're going to have, that you do partner them up with whatever Medicare Advantage plan that they do have. They will have copays if they do go into the hospital. And that is pretty much our bread and butter product. This is what we are mainly known for doing out there in the marketplace because the product is just excellent, in every single which way that you can think of. Advantage Plus Elite is there to take care of all of the gaps that your clients do have in their current MA plans. Now, to go ahead and kick things off here, I first want to just extend a very warm welcome to all of you, especially those who have not had the opportunity to work with GTL as of yet. And my way of doing so is just to provide you some background information on GTL to kind of get you a little bit more warmed up to us, try to give you a face to go with the name that is GTL. And we are a very solid insurance carrier. A couple of bit of notes about us is our office building is actually located out in Glenview, Illinois. It's a suburb about, I would say, 15 miles, maybe northwest outside the city of Chicago. So if you are ever in the area, you are always more than welcome to stop on by our office. You can either set up a meeting with myself or any of the other sales managers that you might be working with here at GTL. We'd be more than happy to have you here. We can talk some business, maybe go out to lunch, introduce you to some of the key folks around the office that you might be working with down the road. So please don't be shy. If you're around, we'd be more than happy to have you here. And we've been around for quite some time. We were founded all the way back in 1936. So certainly no strangers to the insurance game here. We're actually celebrating our 88th birthday in about a month or so now. So certainly, again, we've been doing this a really long time. We know how to do business the right way. We are a mutual company. We're licensed to do business in 49 states. The only state in which we do not conduct any business in is the state of New York. So just make sure you keep a note of that. And financially, we are very well off. Our AM Best rating is currently an A-, which is excellent by their standards. And we have $0 of debt on our balance sheets, which is huge because one of the things that we do really pride ourselves in is the fact that we pay out all of the viable claims that do come across our desks. So just know that we do have plenty of capital to go ahead and take care of all those claims that we will be seeing. And I'll give you some numbers on those claim payouts that we've been, paying out over the years in just a couple of slides here. But in order to sell our products or just to sell in general, you're of course going to need a very solid insurance carrier. Of course, you found that here with GTL, but you're also going to need to present and offer your clients the best in class product, and that is GTL's Advantage Plus plan. Quick fun fact is that GTL was actually the first carrier to roll out a hospital indemnity plan to the market about 19 years ago. This was the first hospital indemnity plan that has been rolled out. And over the years, we've made tons of improvements. We've innovated our product, added benefits, riders, made it easier to qualify. We do a really good job at making improvements. And over the years, other carriers have kind of used our plan as a base to kind of make their own product. Unfortunately, they're not able to really equate the amount of coverage that we do roll out to our clients. So just know that you are going to be able to offer the best hospital indemnity plan whenever you do sell GTL. And on that note, do want to talk a little bit about cross-selling because we are going to share with you some cross-selling tips as well as the need for cross-selling. In a little bit here, I have a couple of slides to go over with you at the beginning about cross-selling as I do at the end of the presentation as well. We'll go over an example, but in order to cross-sell, you're going to need to do that as efficiently as possible. And we want to do as good of a job as we can at making that process as easy as possible for you all. And with that, we do have great cross-selling tools to kind of make that transition, that process easy for you all. So we have tons of tools that you can use that are actually located on our agent portal. You can access at any time. We do have a consumer video, and I will say, Joey actually just boasts about our consumer video all the time. It actually ends up selling policies for him whenever he does write business. That video is about 3 minutes long. I'll actually show you that video later on, but does a really good job at going over the product high level, making it very easy for the client to understand what they're going to be buying and what they're going to be using it for. And aside from that video, we do have paper materials as well. We have an infographic flyer I have displayed for you on this slide, as well as brochures. And we also have a client presentation that our marketing team put together. They put that together because we get asked all the time as sales managers if we can actually share our PowerPoint slides with you all. And unfortunately, we can't due to our company's compliance regulations. But our marketing team did put together something that's already been approved by compliance for you all to use on any appointments to actually go over all the benefits on the Advantage Plus plan to make it a lot easier for you all to present the product to your clients. And it's also branded by GTL. So it's going to look a lot more clean, a lot more professional. And again, you're going to be representing GTL out there when you are talking to your clients. So it's going to be nice to have some sort of GTL branded content to show them. And further on, cross-selling, you want to be able to do it as quickly as possible, especially with AEP. Pretty much it's going to be rolling up as soon as tomorrow. That's kind of what it feels like. That's what always happens year in and year out. AEP always sneaks up on us. So we want to make sure that you guys are able to cross-sell very efficiently, and we want to make sure you guys can save as much time as possible. And you'll be able to do that by utilizing all of the EAP platforms and ways to submit business that we have available for you all. So we do have a mobile app that you can download onto your mobile devices, whether you're using an iPhone, iPad, tablet, Android phone, whatever it may be. You can go ahead and download that EAP onto your devices. So you can just bring that along with you to any appointment. You can sign your folks up via that mobile app, or if you do want to bring your laptop around, you can do that as well. Both platforms are going to look practically the same here. The only difference I would say is that the mobile application allows for your client to actually sign your device with their finger. So if you're in person with your client, they can do that. If you're not in person with your client, you can use the website. A couple of different signature options we can get to with those. There's a voice verification call. There's a text to sign option now, which is a little newer, but the text to sign option, I will say, will probably be the most time efficient option that you do have. Reason being is because that whole process maybe takes about 30 seconds. So assuming your clients are kind of up to the task of using their own cell phones to submit their signature, I would strongly encourage you all to rely on that option as much as possible. And lastly, before we start getting into some of the product specs here and the need to actually cross-sell hospital indemnity insurance, is that I've mentioned this already, but GTL, we're always innovating, mainly for you as well as all of your clients. So you guys are out there talking to your clients day in and day out, and you're looking at these MA plans every single day, right? So if you ever see that there's a sort of gap or some sort of benefit that can be added to the plan that you would like to see in the future, go ahead and like pass that feedback along to myself or any of the other folks here at GTL, because we'll actually be able to talk about these things in meetings when we talk about product redesign. And who knows, down the road you might see your suggestion added to our plan down the road. So please don't be shy. Pass along any thoughts or comments that you have on our plans to us, and we'll see what we can do and see if we can add that down the road here. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump into hospital indemnity. So again, the reason we designed this product and rolled this out in the marketplace almost 20 years ago is that we want to provide hospital coverage for when your clients do go to the hospital. So let's say one of your clients do go to the hospital, and by doing so, they're going to have to pay a copay with their Medicare Advantage plan. So their financial situation is going to look different, right? But not only their finances, your relationship with that client might end up looking a little different as well. So I'm going to present to you the scenario. I'm going to give you a quick little rhetorical question at the end. It's going to be, which option are you going to prefer? So first scenario here, you're going to be selling someone an MA plan without a hospital indemnity plan. This is what it's going to look like. A $0 premium for the most part. It's going to sound great to your clients because they're going to see that $0 sign. Their eyes are going to light up. This is great. I don't have to pay anything for my coverage. And there may be some copays on a singular use basis, which might be manageable for some. But most importantly is that after that hospitalization, especially if it's a lengthy one, your client's going to be hit with this bill in the mail for maybe, anywhere from like $1,500, maybe $2,000. That's a large amount of money. They now see that they have these copays for the hospital and their ambulance use. And if you don't pair them up with a hospital indemnity plan, they're going to be left wondering if there's a better way they could have went about that, right? That's kind of like the baseline scenario there for these agents who are not writing hospital indemnity coverage on top of their Medicare Advantage plans. And there is a better way, and that is pairing them up with GTL's Advantage Plus Elite. That's especially like what you want to do. You want to make this a part of your normal practice whenever you do sell Medicare Advantage plans. Reason being is that, of course, they're going to be awarded very affordable premium. Typical monthly premium probably hovers somewhere around $30 a month, maybe a little less if you're writing someone aging into Medicare, 64, 65-year-old. But most importantly is that after that hospitalization, your client's net out-of-pocket costs are going to be $0. So this is where I ask you, which client would you prefer to have on your books? The lady on the left who's stressing about how she's going to cover these large copays, or the woman on the right who gets to toss those bills up in the air because you did your job as the agent. You let her know what's available for her to take out. You partnered her up with GTL, and she gets to toss those bills up in the air because she knows GTL has her back, right? Of course, you're going to want the woman on the right on your books. You're going to increase your retention rate, and your clients are going to be that much happier, leading to referrals. Plenty of good stuff there. More reasons for you to sell hospital indemnity. And I mentioned this already, but GTL, we have been the market leaders for the past 19 years, ever since we did roll out hospital indemnity to the marketplace. And a couple of notes that have really allowed us to maintain that status over the years. We've never increased our rates for our policyholders. We've never reduced any policyholder benefits. Matter of fact, we add benefits over the years. We actually built this plan to be used. As weird as that may sound coming from an insurance carrier, we actually want our clients to take advantage of the benefits we have available for them. We also have plenty of years of claim processing experience. We've rolled out plenty of cross-selling tools to help you sell that business. And now our EAP platforms are equipped with STP, that's straight through processing. So whenever you do click that submit button at the end of your EAP, you're going to be given a policy number right then and there. And a couple of hours, you'll have policy documents available to download from our agent portal, just like that. Very simple to go ahead and sell our business. So you want to go ahead and, get coached up. That's why I'm here for you all, is to make sure you're really familiar with GTL and all of our processes so that you can cross-sell as quickly as possible, make great use of your time, and do your clients a great service as well. And I did mention that we do such a good job at paying out claims on our plan. I do want to give you a couple of examples of how well we do that. So on the right-hand side of this slide here are real policies that we've had in force over the years. And these are real benefit amounts that we have paid out on these certain amounts of policies. As you can see, these figures are rather large, okay, and ranging anywhere from just under $90,000 all the way down to $46,000. Large amount of money. How many of your clients do you think have that much laying around in their savings or even checking accounts? Probably not too many because the average household savings account has less than $9,000 in it. So let's say one of your clients ends up racking up tens of $1,000s in copays that they're responsible for. How many of them can actually dip into their savings account without it resulting in some sort of lifestyle change? Again, probably very few. They're in turn going to have to incur a large amount of debt by not having the capital go ahead and pay out all of those bills in totality. So again, another great reason why you want to go ahead and sell someone GTL's Advantage Plus Elite plan, because when it comes to healthcare, especially, you don't want your folks having to stress about the finances that are tied to those healthcare events. You want them to be able to focus all of their energy on actually recovering. If we're stressing about finances, that's just, divvying up their energy. They're not going to be able to focus as much on their actual recovery, and we don't want that. And then lastly, how many hip carriers do you think have 19 years of claim processing experience? That's just one. That's us here at GTL. So know that we're going to take the best of care of your clients and make sure that they get their money that they are owed. But now let's go ahead and take a look at how this is going to affect you as an agent. All right, we kind of focused on the client side of things for a little bit, but I do want to speak to how this is going to look for you all. So let's say you see 100 MA prospects, and this is very typical. Your average Advantage Plus closing rate will be about 70%, assuming you do bring it up to everybody and take advantage of all of GTL's cross-selling tools. You're going to have an additional 70 commissionable policies on your books, which of course lead to a lot more money for you all. And while I did mention that we do want you coached up as good as possible before AEP rolls around, this can't not, I mean, you can sell this all year long. It's not just built for AEP. We understand how, much of a time crunch you're under during AEP, trying to get to as many clients as possible. And sometimes it's impossible for you all to actually sell Advantage Plus to every single one of your clients due to being booked all day long. So just know that if you do run out of time on any of the days, you can always circle back to those clients that you sold MA plans to after AEP is over. And we do also pay great first year commissions. It's a great way to kind of keep your cash flow up throughout the year. Renewals are going to be paid out for the life of the policy. It's going to protect your book of business. And I mentioned this a little bit before, but you're going to be generating tons of referrals, which we would love, right? The less work you have to do to get business, the less door knocking, cold calling you need to do to get business. If you sell someone an Advantage Plus policy and they take advantage of the claims or the benefits, I should say, built into the plan, they're going to tell their peers, their family, their friends who might be able to benefit from a plan such as this. And there are more benefits of cross-selling. I do want to highlight real quickly here. You are, of course, going to be creating a brand new client while adding value for the insured in form of providing money for those gaps and deductibles for what their current plan does not pay, but you're also going to be standing out from a ton of other agents. So I want to give you a quick little stat here. This is kind of alarming, and I thought it was crazy when I first heard it. So of all of the folks out there in the country who do have a Medicare Advantage plan, 99% of them do not have a hospital indemnity plan to go on top of it. That is a large number. And the reason why that figure is so high is because not many people are out there actually selling hospital indemnity insurance, which is why I'm kind of here doing my job to make sure that you guys all are presenting this plan as frequently as possible. Now, while that number is large, I will say that doesn't mean not people are not selling it. There are folks that are out there selling, and they will circle back after AEP to tons of clients who may end up being your clients that you just sold a Medicare Advantage plan to. So if you do not tack on a hospital indemnity plan with that MA client that you just signed up for, you do run the risk of having another agent come back after AEP, getting that hospital indemnity business that you didn't get. And because of that, you might risk losing that client as well because that other agent came in, swooped up that hospital indemnity business, but that client may end up, trusting that agent a little more, and then in the future, you may risk losing that MA business as well. So it's another great reason to stand out from other agents while protecting yourself from any other agents who might come in. And again, we went over this already, but you're going to be increasing your profit per client while generating tons of referrals. All right, so that's some of the benefits of cross-selling. Now we're going to get into the plan itself. I'm going to first start out by talking about where you can actually sell GTL's Advantage Plus Elite plan. So it's available in 44 states. We actually just had Colorado approved as of today. So if any of you are in Colorado or sell in Colorado, we've had our base plan available for plenty of years now. We actually just got Colorado approved for the new Advantage Plus Elite plan. So please take great advantage of that. And a couple of things to know about Advantage Plus is that your client can actually use their coverage in all 50 states, even the states in which we don't do business in, like New York. So if they go on vacation to Times Square, whatever the case may be, they fall down, break a bone, go to the hospital, they can actually take advantage of their policy while on vacation. They can also keep their policy if they do move to another state. And guarantee issue. We're going to get to guarantee issue now. So this is another little like note, kind of how we built this to go hand in hand with Medicare Advantage policies, is that any client of yours that is in between 64 and a half all the way up to 70 years old, they do not have to answer any health questions when taking out this policy. So you can go ahead and sign them up for their MA plan. If they want hospital indemnity coverage, great. They don't have to go through any underwriting. You can give them a policy just like that, kind of matching them up with their MA plan copays. And another quick little cross-selling tidbit for you all. So over the past few years, I should say, especially during the pandemic that we had, I'm sure you all have seen these QR codes out at restaurants or bars that you just hover your phone over to pull up a food or drink list. That's great technology that we went ahead and implemented onto all of our product brochures. So if you ever do have a brochure on hand, you'll see that there's a QR code on the front of it. All you have to do is hover your phone or iPad over that QR code, and it'll pull up the consumer video just like that. So if you ever had that brochure on hand and you're talking to someone who may be interested, go ahead and pull up that video, show them the plan, go ahead and close that sale just like that. Great way to actually, take advantage of the technology that we have available for you all. And I am talking a lot about cross-selling, and there is something that you need to know before you actually do start cross-selling hospital indemnity, is that you will need to have a scope of sales appointment confirmation form signed by your client at least 48 hours before your Medicare appointment. So just make sure you have this signed by your client before you go ahead and present them any hospital indemnity products, just making sure that you're remaining compliant with all the regulations that are put out there for you all to follow. Now let's talk about actually designing a plan. It is not complicated, I promise you that. You're going to have all the tools right in front of you when you do cross-sell, because that's the Medicare Advantage plan. You're going to look to that to figure out how to design it, and you're going to rely on two basic questions. The first question is going to be, how many days does your client have a hospitalization stay copay? Once you find that number, you can then choose the best matching Advantage Plus Elite benefit period. Plenty of options to choose from here. There's a 1-day option. You can sign someone up for anywhere in between 3 and 10 days, or even a 15-day benefit period. And whichever benefit period you do end up electing for your client, just know that every single one of those benefit periods actually fully restores after 60 days of no hospital confinement. And there's unlimited benefit period restorations for the life of the policy. So if they keep paying their plan's premium, they're going to have, essentially infinite coverage based on however many benefit days and benefit amount you do sign your client up for. Now, the second question to ask is going to be, what is their daily hospitalization copay amount? You find that figure, you can then go ahead and mirror that copay amount from their Medicare Advantage plan. You can also add on more benefit per day in case the plan does change in the future and that copay amount does go up. I would strongly advise you to do that if possible for your client, because if the plan does go up and they need more benefit on their hospital indemnity plan and they're outside that guarantee issue age range, you will then have to re-enroll them and they'll have to go through underwriting again. So go ahead and avoid that if ever possible. If your clients can't afford that extra dollar or two a month by bumping up that benefit amount, I would strongly advise you to get them on board by doing that. But in terms of the benefit amounts available for each benefit period, they're going to be a little different, only if someone does elect for the 1-day option. You can choose anywhere in between $1,000 all the way up to $2,500. Any other benefit period you sign them up for, you can choose anywhere in between $100 all the way up to $750 per day. And it does give you the option to choose in $10 increments to make it a little flexible, because we know those copay amounts on those MA plans might look a little odd at some time. So go ahead and take full advantage of that. You can kind of mirror that plan as closely as possible. And just know with whichever benefit period your client does end up enrolling in, there's a couple of other base benefits that are included with the plan. The first of which is going to be the emergency room benefit that'll provide $150 for any emergency room or urgent care expenses that are due to an injury. And what's cool is that admittance as an inpatient is actually not required to take advantage of that benefit. And there's also a mental health benefit that'll pay them $175 if they are confined for a mental health condition. As for what's going to trigger their base plan coverage, it's always going to be the amount of time that your client spends in the hospital. So if you sign someone up for a 1 day benefit period, they'll receive their full benefit after being in the hospital for 24 hours. Now, there is a 25% short stay benefit that's built into the 1 day plan. So if they're in the hospital for less than 24 hours, but more than 6 hours, they'll receive 25% of the benefit amount in which you enroll them in. As for any other benefit period, they will receive 1 full day's worth of benefit after being in the hospital for only 6 hours. So this is a little newer when we went ahead and revamped this policy back in 2021, whereas that number used to be 12 hours. So we went ahead and cut that in half. They only have to be in the hospital for 6 hours before receiving that full day's worth of payment. And there are some typical uses of this benefit that may seem kind of like common sense to you all, but whenever you do talk about this plan with your clients, you want to go ahead and roll out these sorts of examples because you want to do as good of a job as possible at painting a mental image for your client in terms of how they're going to use that benefit so they can really see the value in the plan itself. So just make sure to go over these instances like surgeries they may need, illnesses, and of course, unexpected accidents, all things of which they can use this policy for in the future after they do enroll. Now, I mentioned that the full day's worth of benefit is paid out after 6 hours. This is huge because that's not really too much time and it'll come in handy. And I'll get to that in just a second. So, a lot of the times you'll find, especially with other carriers who offer hospital indemnity, they might not offer coverage for stays that are coded as observation. And of course, that's going to lead to a very unhappy client because in their head, this is a hospitalization policy. If they're in the hospital, they expect to be awarded some sort of benefit due to the plan you just sold them. So this is another great example of how we actually built our plan to be used. So GTL actually treat observation coded stays the exact same way as any other traditional inpatient stay would be. So we pay out observation stays at 100% of the daily hospital benefit level you signed your client up for. So again, we don't want unhappy clients on our books, especially on your books. So just know that this plan pays out the exact same way for observation as it would any other traditional inpatient stay without any dollar limits, without any daily limits. It's going to pay based on the GTL policy you did sign them up for. And it talked about restoration a little bit and how this plan does restore after 60 days. I do want to go over a couple of examples to show you what that's going to look like for your clients. So let's say you sign a client up for a 6-day benefit period. This client has a 3-day hospital stay and they go home. So they have 3 remaining days on their policy, but they don't have to go back to the hospital for 60 consecutive days. Since they were out of the hospital for that long, that 3-day benefit period goes ahead and resets or restores to a brand new 6-day benefit period to use. In the second example, still the same 6-day benefit period. Let's say this time your client goes to the hospital for 3 days, they go home. However, this time they had to return to the hospital within that 60-day window for 3 more days. So in this scenario, they have 0 remaining benefit days to use, but they were able to stay out of the hospital after that second stay for 60 straight days. After the 60 days pass, policyholder has a brand new 6-day benefit period to use just like that. So main takeaway being, it does not matter whether or not a client fully exhausts all the days on their plan that you sign them up for. As long as they can stay out of the hospital for 60 straight days, the plan will go ahead and restore. It's as simple as that. All right, and now a quick little tip I want to give you all to kind of speak on how this policy actually does pay. So let's say your client has an MA plan in which they're responsible for a copay for the first 5 days they're in the hospital. Let's say this client has a 6-day hospital stay. So since they have a 6-day benefit period on their Advantage Plus policy you sold them, how many days of claim benefits do you think they're going to receive? 5, or 6? The answer is going to be 6 days. So our Advantage Plus benefits are actually paid based on the GTL policy benefits themselves, not the Medicare Advantage plan copay amount. So even though they were covered for that 6th day that they were in the hospital, since they only had a copay for the first 5 days in which they were in the hospital for, GTL doesn't look at that. We do not coordinate coverage with any other insurance that your client may have in force. We pay based on our policy benefits themselves. And I do have some other product details that might help you close some sales. We, of course, went over that guarantee issue window. Again, that's anyone in between the ages of 64 and a half all the way up to age 70. But you can sell this to folks under that age as well. The minimum age you can sign someone up with this plan is age 40, and you can also sell it to someone as old as age 85. They can also keep their policy in force after they turn 86. You just can't write any new business at that point. But also, your
Jack,
clients.
if I can jump in real quick, there was a
Yeah,
question in there while you're on the underwriting
sure.
on knockout questions. Do you have some
Yeah,
knockout questions? That'd be
we
great.
do. We do have 5 knockout questions for your clients. Those are on our application themselves, but again, those are only for those folks outside that guarantee issue age range. And those questions are very minimally invasive. We don't go into really too much detail on those. They're for like the big health conditions like diabetes with insulin, Alzheimer's, dementia, COPD. We ask if they have any surgery upcoming in like the next 60 days and if they've been in the hospital for the past 30 days. Or I'm sorry, 90 days, 3
Perfect.
months. But those knockout questions can also be found on our application. I don't have them displayed on this PowerPoint, but you can download an application from our agent portal and find all those questions there to go over. All right. Now, your clients are also going to continue to pay the same rate as they do age because these are issue age rates. And unfortunately, I can't guarantee those rates are going to remain level. However, GTL has never increased our rates in the past 19 years. As long as we've had this policy, we've never increased any rates. Matter of fact, when we did go ahead and roll out this new Advantage Plus Elite plan in 2021, we actually cut our rates by 14%. So your clients don't have much to worry about there. And we also used to have an application fee of $20 for every applicant. We went ahead and nixed that. We instead have a policy fee that is included in the rate quote. It's not a separate draft or anything like that. And like I just mentioned, we went ahead and dropped our rates by 14%, and that's even taking that policy fee into consideration. So nothing to really take from that. Your clients are going to be paying less and a little bit extra bang for your buck in terms of you like agents on the agent side of things is that policy fee is actually commissionable in the first year, whereas in years past, the application fee we had in place was not commissionable. And then lastly here, these benefits are going to be paid out directly to your client. And again, regardless of any other insurance. A phrase we like to use a lot is that we pay above and beyond any other insurance. So if you all want to use that yourselves in any appointments, please have a blast, have a field day with that. Just let them know that they're going to be taken care of regardless of whatever other insurance that they do have in force. Now, I will say all these benefits we have are available on day 1 of the policy, except for any pre-existing conditions. So we're going to go over that limitation right now. Just real quick, pre-ex condition is just any sickness or injury for which medical care, treatment, diagnosis, or advice was received or recommended within the 6-month period immediately prior to your client's effective date of coverage. So what that's going to look like. Let's say your client had a diagnosis of a pre-ex within those 6 months before the effective date, and they try submitting a claim for treatment of that pre-ex within the first 6 months of the policy's effective date. That claim will not be covered. It is not until after that 6-month marker where they can actually start receiving benefits for treatment of pre-ex conditions. And the pre-existing conditions limitation still will apply to any folks who apply that are within that guarantee issue window. So if they do ever send in claims during that time frame, we will just go ahead and verify health records to make sure it was not treatment of a pre-existing condition. However, like I just mentioned, any claims that do come into us that are not pre-existing, those claims are eligible for immediate coverage. So you can sign someone up today. Tomorrow they go to the hospital with a broken hip, that claim is going to be covered on day 1. So they can use this plan right away, minus any pre-existing conditions. And a quick little target market sales idea for any of you folks who work with veterans. So benefits under GTL's Advantage Plus Elite plan, they can actually be paid out to any clients who are veterans and they're staying at a veterans hospital, even though they do not have a copay when staying at a veterans hospital. So that policyholder can still file a claim with GTL. Our claim staff will actually contact that veterans hospital to obtain all the information that we need, such as the time they went in, the time they went out, and the reason for that hospitalization. And if we find it's a payable claim, we will pay out the benefits based on whichever policy they did sign up for with GTL. Okay, now that is pretty much it for the base plan itself and all the things that go on behind the scenes. So now I'm going to start getting into some of the riders that you can tack onto the policy to further complete your client's coverage. However, before I get into all of these riders, I do have to say that all riders are not going to be available in all the states in which we sell Advantage Plus. So if you're ever selling in a state in which you're not really too familiar with the coverage options, go ahead and pull an outline of coverage off of our agent portal for that state in which you're going to be selling, just to become a little bit more familiar with the coverage options available in that state. Or if you don't have an outline of coverage on hand, you can also call into our sales support department at any time and ask them what is available. They can also send out an outline of coverage to you as well if that's something that you do need. And their phone number is on this slide here. I'm going to leave it on the screen at the end of the presentation as well. But just real quick, that number is 800-323-6907. But the first rider we're going to get to, and this is by far the most popular rider that is tacked onto the plan, and it's probably the most commonly used one as well, is the ambulance service rider. This one will pay out a benefit anywhere in between $50 all the way up to $400 for any use of the ambulance. This can pay out 4 times a year and has a lifetime maximum of 12 uses. We also lowered the rates on this rider. Quick example, let's say you sign up a 65-year-old with a $300 ambulance rider, it'll cost them less than $3 a month on top of their policy's premium. So if they take an ambulance once, they'll receive $300, and of course that $300 will cover that, less than $3 a month premium for years into the future, right? And in order to use this rider, it can just be for any trip, transportation to or from a facility. It extends to air ambulance coverage if that's ever needed. And they don't even have to end up being confined to the hospital in order to collect the benefit on it. It can be an ER stay, short observation stay, or your traditional inpatient stay. And again, it does extend to air ambulance coverage as well. Next rider we're going to get to is the lump sum cancer rider. This one is very, very, very important to talk to about with your clients because this one was designed to help cover their maximum out of pockets on their plans. And as we all know, cancer treatments, medications are very expensive, and we want to be able to provide some sort of benefit to your clients to where they don't really have to worry about the costs associated with that treatment. Now, the lump sum cancer rider can be sold anywhere from $2,500 in benefit all the way up to $20,000, again, to help cover their maximum out of pocket. But there are some other benefits that are tied to this rider, such as benefits for cancer in situ, that'll be paid at 25% of the lump sum coverage amount you did sign someone up for. This one is payable one time over the life of the policy. And just real quick, cancer in situ, that's pretty much just early cancer where that growth or tumor hasn't spread to any of the other surrounding tissue or any other organs in the body. It's also sometimes referred to as stage 0 cancer. So if you ever hear that term pop up, just know that they're talking about cancer in situ. And there's also skin cancer benefit built in. That'll pay $500 for any basal cell or squamous cell skin carcinoma. And this one is payable 3 times over the life of the policy. And this one, again, is built to be used by your clients. Now, you want to be able to maximize how much they're able to use this rider. So I'm going to give you a quick little tip here. So while this was designed to help them cover their maximum out of pocket, you can do so not just once, but twice. So I always like to say cancer doesn't share its itinerary with anybody. So cancer treatments like chemo or radiation, they can really start at the tail end of one year and they can carry over into the beginning of the next year, or that treatment might be needed another time in that next calendar year. So let's look at a quick example. Let's say someone's maximum out of pocket is $5,000. we recommend signing them up for a $10,000 cancer rider. So, quick reason being, let's say someone gets diagnosed with cancer in the fall, they file a claim with GTL, we pay them out $10,000. Great. They can use $5,000 of which to cover that first calendar year's maximum out of pocket. But like I just mentioned, their treatment might extend into the next year. Maybe it comes back the next calendar year. So next calendar year rolls around, they have a brand new maximum out of pocket to satisfy, and they do end up needing treatment. That's great. Like they can go ahead and use the remaining $5,000 from that $10,000 rider you sold them to cover the next calendar year's maximum out of pocket. So you do want to go ahead and just maximize the usage of this rider by maybe doubling the lump sum amount you sign them up for from their MA plan's maximum out of pocket. Now, quick little mention here is that the lump sum cancer rider does have a 30-day waiting period, not like hospital indemnity where benefits can be paid out on day one of the policy. And for any folks that are guarantee issue, the lump sum cancer rider is not guarantee issue. There's a separate set of 5 health questions they will have to answer no to in order to be eligible to take out this rider. And you also will have the option to tack on recurrence on this rider as well, which would allow your client to receive the lump sum benefit amount again. I'm going to go ahead and show you a quick example actually of recurrence. Let's say you sign someone up for a $10,000 lump sum cancer rider with recurrence. They get diagnosed with a covered cancer. GTL sends them out a check for that $10,000 amount. After their treatment, they go into remission. And if it's after 5 years of being in remission, they get diagnosed with another covered cancer. After that 5 years, though, that rider is 100% restored, and GTL will be able to send them out another check for another $10,000. And we will still send them out a percentage of the lump sum benefits payable. If it does come back before that 5-year marker, the percentage of which we will pay out is displayed in that bar graph there on the right-hand side. It'll be 10% after year 1, 25% after years 2 and 3, and 50% after year 4. All right, and then we also have the critical accident rider I'm going to go over real quickly. This will pay out a lump sum dollar amount for any of the following types of injuries that you see on this table here on the right-hand side. There's 2 options to pick from with this one. There's either a $5,000 or $10,000 plan. The only difference between the 2 plans is the amount of benefit they will receive for any of the covered events that you see here. Whoops. All righty. And then we have our skilled nursing facility rider. This one will pay out a daily benefit for each day they are in a skilled nursing facility. Benefit amounts range from $100 all the way up to $220 per day. And there are 2 options to pick from with this rider as well, either paying for days 1 through 50 or days 21 through 100. I will say the second option is probably the most popular one because Medicare does cover the first 20 days in the skilled nursing facility. But there are some rider requirements that need to be met before benefits can start being paid out. And those are that the skilled nursing facility stay will have to be for the same condition they were hospitalized with, and the stay begins within 30 days of a hospitalization, lasting at least 3 consecutive days. Couple of notes though is that the observation time in the hospital that actually counts toward that 3-day requirement, so it's a lot easier to meet that than you might be thinking. And just like hospital indemnity, the skilled nursing facility rider will restore after 60 days if there's been no confinement in a hospital or a skilled nursing facility. And then next up, we have our outpatient surgery rider. It's another lump sum benefit that we have all the way up to $1,000. This one can be used 2 times per calendar year for any surgical procedures that they do need. And I have surgical procedures underlined because we get a lot of questions on if it can be used for like tests such as MRIs, X-rays, or CT scans. Unfortunately, it can't be payable on those. It's just for surgical procedures. And lastly, on this slide here, we have our lump sum hospital benefit rider, which will pay out an additional lump sum if they are confined to a hospital, all the way up to $750. And we have a new rider. This one's the newest one that we did add. This is the outpatient therapy benefit rider, which will pay a $50 daily benefit for each day your client receives any physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy. And with this rider, you can choose between either a 15-day or a 30-day per calendar year benefit. And they are limited to one $50 benefit per day. So if ever the case arises where they need 2 therapies done once a week, maybe advise them to stagger the days in which they receive those therapies. That way they can receive $50 twice a week rather than $50 once a week, doubling the amount of benefit they're able to receive from us. And chiropractic therapy is also covered under this rider at $50 a day. However, that one's for only up to 5 days per calendar year. And the last rider we have here I'm going to go over is the dental vision rider. This one has annual benefit options from $400, $800, or $1,200. And there are some limitations with how this rider works in each calendar year. So in the first calendar year, and in every calendar year, there's going to be a $100 deductible that needs to be satisfied before any benefits are paid out. But in the first calendar year, 80% of actual charges up to 50% of the maximum benefit level chosen are going to be available to them. It's not until the second calendar year where 80% of charges up to 100% of the maximum benefit level chosen are going to be available to them. And there's also some waiting periods built into this rider for certain sorts of services. The first waiting period is going to be 3 months for any preventative care. So after that 3-month waiting period, your client can receive $75 for any preventative dental appointments per calendar year, as well as up to $50 for any eye exam or refraction per calendar year. And I will say that the $100 deductible is not applicable to preventative services, so they don't have to worry about that. Next waiting period is for 6 months. After 6 months is up, now they're going to have benefits available for any fillings or root canals up to that rider maximum. And they'll also receive $200 for any prescription eyewear or contacts. That one's big, mainly because the fact that we all know as we grow older, our eyes change. Especially the older we get, they're probably going to change a little bit more dramatically. So if they do go to the eye doctor for their exam, chances are they're going to need a new prescription for their glasses or contacts. So why not pair them up with a rider that'll help alleviate the cost of their new eyewear or contacts? And then the last waiting period we have is 12 months. After 12 months has passed, now they'll pretty much have benefits available to them for any services like bridges, crowns, dentures, partials, any treatment relating to the replacement of natural teeth, outpatient dental surgery, as well as any full mouth extractions or fluoride treatments. And I will say that there's tons of benefits they can actually collect year in and year out with this rider itself. I'm going to give you a quick example. So they can actually collect $325 each year. 75 for their dental exam, 50 for their eye exam or refraction, and $200 for the preventative eyewear or contacts. And that $325 can help alleviate the actual total cost of this rider itself. And now we're going to get into some of the underwriting details. We kind of got to them a little bit. I know a question did come in on this. So this is a yes/no application for those folks who are not guarantee issue. Those 5 knockout questions can again be found on the application available on our agent portal. Again, that guarantee issue age range, 64 and a half up to age 70. And remember that lump sum cancer rider is not guarantee issue, and that 6-month pre-X still applies to our guarantee issue policyholders, and this policy is contestable for 24 months. When it comes to how clients can pay for the policy, it can be either a bank draft or a direct bill. If a client does prefer a direct bill, just know that you will need to send in that business on a paper application and send in the first mode's premium along with that application. And I do want to kind of highlight how GTL kind of does as good of a job as possible at making plans easier for folks to actually qualify for. So this is actually one of the health questions here, is if someone has been in the hospital for the past within the past 3 months. When I first started at GTL a little over 6 years ago, we actually asked if they've been in the hospital in the past year, 12 months. Maybe a year or two after that, we went ahead and cut it in half to 6 months. That's the first application question. And again, we cut it in half back in 2021 down to 3 months. So just know that GTL is very active in trying to make our policy and benefits available to as many folks as possible. You might not really see that with too many other carriers. And we do have fewer underwriting questions than other carriers. Again, we make it easier to qualify for them. Our premium rates are lower. We have the best cross-selling tools out there in the market. We have the most experience in the market, and we pay our claims faster than anyone else. And again, where you can actually download that e-app on the App Store if you're using an Apple device, or if you're using an Android, you'll find it on the Google Play Store. Just go ahead and search GTL e-app on that store and download it onto your devices to help you streamline your process there. And I want to speak on claims real quickly before we get to some cross-selling tips. The claims process is fairly simple. You can go onto our main website at gtlic.com. You can click on File a Claim, and you'll see the claims forms for every single one of our products. And this is the cover page for the hospital indemnity claim form. And as you can see, it's a checklist essentially. So just make sure your clients know that all boxes need to be checked before they do send in that claim to us, because that will allow us to pay them out as quickly as possible. All right, and some quick little FYIs for your clients. Let them know again, GTL pays every single one of our viable claims. We have no desire at all to delay payment or deny any claims, because that is, again, something we take a huge amount of pride in. And if they ever do want to call into us to check on their status with their claim, please have them do so. If you ever want to call in on their behalf, that's totally fine as well. Just always important to remember that we can only be as transparent as HIPAA regulations allow us to be with any agent requests that do come in. And I mentioned that we do pay our claims out fast. Claim turnaround is about 8 business days from when GTL has all the information that we do need. And then lastly, if medical records are ever necessary, GTL actually places a call to the doctor's office, and we will follow up with them every 3 days until we receive everything that we need to start reviewing that claim. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the cross sale itself. All right, I do want to share with you some sort of tips. So first, when do you think your clients are actually going to call you to lower their out-of-pocket hospitalization costs? Probably not too often, because most folks in their free time are not reading their insurance policy, right? And going over all the ins and outs of it. It's most likely going to happen after they were just in the hospital and had a health event. And unfortunately, that's when it's going to be a little late for them to apply. Reason being is, let's say they're outside that guarantee issue window. We just talked about the first health question on the application. It's if they've been in the hospital within the last 3 months. They're going to have to answer that question yes. Of course, they won't be able to apply for this plan. And if they're within that guarantee issue window and they were just in the hospital, now any claims they need to send in to us stemming from that hospital stay, those are not going to be covered for 6 months. So it's going to be a little late for us to help them out. And it's going to be much too late for you to help them out too, right? So you do want to bring this up at the point of sale for every MA client that you do have. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you how our best agents actually get that cross sale conversation started. And again, you're going to have the keys right in front of you, being their Medicare Advantage policy. So we're going to pull up the sample policy to show you how things are going to look. So what you want to do is highlight this section right here, the inpatient hospital care. You'll say to your client, Mrs. Smith, I see with this Medicare Advantage plan, you're going to be responsible for $250 daily copay for the first 6 days of an inpatient hospital stay. And that can add up to quite a bit of money if you are in the hospital for 6 days. And quick fun fact is that folks 65 and older, their average length of a hospitalization stay is just about 5.7 days, about 6 days. So that's going to be a large cost that you're going to be responsible for. If that daily hospital copay amount is concerning you right now, or maybe you'd prefer not to have to really budget for it, don't worry about it. I got you covered. After we go ahead and finish up this Medicare Advantage plan, I'm going to explain how, for less than $1 a day, you can actually lower those net out-of-pocket expenses to zero with GTL's Advantage Plus Elite plan. Does that sound good to you? And they're going to be very warm to that idea, because you took the extra couple of minutes to talk to them about this large cost that they're going to have when they go into the hospital. So they're going to be very likely to want to hear you out and see what you have to offer them. And it's at this point you can let your client know. You can say, Mrs. Smith, I'm going to go ahead and finish dotting the I's and crossing the T's on this MA plan. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and play the short video from GTL that'll fully detail how their hospital indemnity plan works and what things are going to look like for you down the road whenever you do get hospitalized. So you're probably done on your end, honestly, with the Medicare Advantage plan, but you want to let GTL's cross-selling tools work for you. So I'm going to go ahead and play this short video just to show you what this consumer video is going to look like and how advantageous it's going to be for you all to use this whenever you are out there in the field. So let's go ahead and give this a quick watch. Please let me know if the audio is not playing.
It's not playing.
It's not playing?
No.
How about now?
Help fill any gaps in
Now it is.
coverage and strengthen your financial protection with a hospital confinement indemnity insurance policy from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Since 2005, GTL's industry-leading hospital indemnity insurance has been helping clients lower or completely eliminate their net out-of-pocket expenses stemming from Medicare Advantage copays and deductibles after a hospitalization event. Coverage is affordable and pays you directly based on your time in the hospital, regardless of any other healthcare coverage you have or where in the U.S. you receive care. Your potential out-of-pocket costs could be for a variety of services, including ambulance trips, outpatient therapy, critical accidents, and more. GTL's hospital indemnity insurance allows you to customize your coverage to help cover these and many others. Let's see a quick example on how it works. Meet Beth. She is 65 years old and her Medicare Advantage coverage leaves her responsible for a daily hospitalization copay of $300 per day for her first 6 days in the hospital. Knowing she would be responsible for her high copay, her agent helped her customize and apply for a GTL hospital indemnity insurance policy. Beth's new policy provided a restorable 6-day benefit period of $300 per day for less than $25 per month. A few months later, Beth suffered an illness that kept her in the hospital for 6 days. Her GTL hospital indemnity insurance kicked in after the first 6 hours of her stay. Beth received $1,800 directly from GTL for her hospitalization, which she used to completely cover her Medicare Advantage copay. Instead of worrying about how to pay her high copay, Beth could focus on her recovery without a financial setback. You shouldn't have to worry about covering out-of-pocket medical expenses, so now is a great time to think about GTL's hospital indemnity insurance.
All right, so there you have it. That is the consumer video. You can kind of have a field day with how you want to share this. If you have social media, you can post this on your Facebook or your LinkedIn page, even your own personal website if you do have any of those, as well as showing it to your clients on any Medicare appointments. Just make sure you have that scope filled out by them before you actually do sell that. In terms of other marketing for you all to use, we do have this infographic flyer I mentioned a little earlier. This is basically that consumer video I just played for you all, just on paper, a two-sided flyer. You can also download or place an order for any of our marketing materials, flyer, brochure, whatever the case may be. You can find those on our agent portal, all free of charge. And just before we get ready to close out here, it's only going to take one real instance to actually for your client to go into the hospital, realize the true value of this plan itself. So look at a quick little copay example versus a premium for the plan itself. So let's say someone goes to the hospital, 1 day of hospital confinement, $250 for the ambulance, $300 for the hospital, $550 is going to be their copay for this one instance. When it comes to the annual premium for someone on a 6-day plan, $300 with a $250 rider, $320. So if they go to the hospital once, they take the ambulance there, they're already, net $230 here in this quick little scenario here. So again, one hospitalization is going to be all it takes for your client to realize the true value of the plan. I'm sure you all realize the true value of it when it comes to being successful in selling hospital indemnity insurance on top of Medicare Advantage plans. I can just stress that you want to make this part of your normal practice. Bring this up to every single one of your clients because, again, if you do so, our average agent has a closing rate of about 70%. So again, you're going to be helping out so many other folks. You're going to be making a lot extra money by doing so as well. And again, retention is going to go up, referrals are going to go up. Everyone's going to be happy. It's truly a win-win-win for the client, yourself, as well as GTL. So we're all helping each other out whenever you do sell Advantage Plus. And lastly, again, we do have that client presentation piece for you all to use. It is available on our agent portal, goes over all the benefits and the plans, as well as how your clients are going to use them. All of the riders are built in as well. So again, take full advantage of that because again, I can't share my slides with you as much as I want to because it would make things a lot easier. But you do have this available for you all to use. Please take advantage of everything that GTL has rolled out for you all. And I hope you guys have nothing but success in selling this plan. If you have any product or process questions whatsoever, please save our sales support department's phone number because they are going to be your #1 contact for all things GTL related. Again, their number is 800 323-6907. So that is everything that I had for you all today. I think I finished at just about an hour on the dot. Sorry, I probably went a little longer than I would have liked because I want to get to some questions if we do have any. Are there any questions,
Yes,
Jan?
there are a couple questions, Zach. So one is, would the indemnity product benefit med sub clients?
Not too often. There are some scenarios where folks would pair them up together. I'm hearing more and more from agents that they're kind of just electing to use hospital indemnity aside from Medicare supplements just due to the high premiums with med sups and the low cost of hospital indemnity insurances. But if you want to pair those up together, very far and few between, you would find a scenario in which it would make sense for the client.
Got it. And then does this plan work with individual and family insurance?
Yeah, it does. So someone doesn't have to have a Medicare Advantage plan to take out this policy. Someone could essentially not have any insurance and still sign up for Advantage plus Elite. They just have to fall within that issue age range of 40 and 85. That's it.
And the last question, Daniela, we're going to reserve the commissions because in case I have any licensed only agents, I don't like to discuss commissions on the call, but you're welcome to outreach to either your sales director or myself, and we can answer any questions regarding commissions on the product. I just wanted to ask real quick, Zach, because I do see some agents in California. Do you have anything I know hospital indemnity is not offered in California for 65 and older. Do you have any products available in California?
We have a couple. We have our 24-hour accident plan that's available, as well as a couple of life products. We have our Heritage. It's a graded whole life plan, as well as our GTL Life Select plan, I believe, is out there. It's another graded plan. Final expense up to $150,000 in coverage, as well as living benefits are built into that one as well.
And then the last question, are any of the riders available as standalone products?
No, they are not. You would have to have the base plan before adding on any other riders.
Got it. And I will put my email address in here, or I'll put my phone number in here. Oops. Sorry. Let's see. And if there's no other questions, we do encourage you to go ahead and if you're interested, get an outreach to our contracting team to get the GTL contract in place, start getting familiar with it before AEP. And like Zach mentioned, this is not a product that you have to bring up and close during the Advantage presentation, because I know AEP is going to be a crazy season that's coming fourth quarter. But, it is a time now you can actually go out to your existing Advantage products and just start talking about this type of protection and, get it in place, because they're probably, if they don't stay on their existing policy, they'll make a change, but it'll most likely still be a Medicare Advantage. So again, it's a cross-selling opportunity to be of service and outreach and make sure that they're aware of the exposure that they do have on a Medicare Advantage product. So if there are no other questions, thank you again, Zach. Appreciate all the information. And we do have this recorded. It will be uploaded to, give it a 24 hours or so, it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel for Copeland. And so you can view, or any of your agents can view it at any time. Thanks
Perfect.
again, Zach.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Take care.
You as well.